So this video is unscripted, unfiltered, on everything. But the one thing it is real, vulnerable, and honest. So my journey, or rewiring journey, which at the time I didn't know that that's what it was, really started 14 years ago when I had my son. And I realized that, you know, something had to change. This cannot be my reality. But see, the thing is, when you're programming and your original programming and your wiring is so deep and has gone on for so many years, it doesn't just change overnight. It doesn't just go from, you know, survival mode, thinking and living, to living and thriving all in one fell swoop. Unless something drastic happens, like your environment drastically changes and you are in a better, much healthier, loving, supportive environment where that is the model and that is the order of the day. So your transformation and your transition will happen easily. But mine has not been linear, and it has been 14 years in the making and beyond, actually. But 14 years ago was when I really became conscious of it and started actively doing things to shift. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I was still under the assumption that something was wrong with me, and essentially it was me and I was the problem. But I was still doing the work. That was when I found Oprah's Soul, what was it called? Soul Food Sunday or something like that. Soul Food Sundays, where she had all these speakers on, and they would be talking about different things, and just alignment and flow and all those things. And basically that's where it started. And I started reading more. I became much more conscious of information, things. I still didn't really connect all the dots, and things still weren't, fully, I still didn't fully understand it. But I was doing what I could with the information I had and with my awareness at the time. Now, one of the things that people talk a lot about in the videos information that they share and the information that I would see, is that they talk about the identity shift and upgrading your identity and your reality will change and all of that. One of my biggest problem or biggest challenges that I had is that I had no identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't, like, every time I tried to envision my future, it would just come up empty, blank, dark, nothing. I mean, I could talk about things that I wanted because you're not blind. You see things, you see people doing things, you see people enjoying. So we all know that we want more money. We want to live in a nice house. We want to. But as they said, you don't identify at your core with having those things and owning those things. You can say the words, you can name them, but you're not connected at your core with having and being those things. So essentially, you can't work towards it. And the reason for that is to get to first having an identity, first of all, to being able to upgrade or shift that identity, is that you have to understand where you are. And what I now know is that where I was and still working through, is I was stuck in survival mode. What I've come to understand is that when you're in survival mode, it cuts off it. Your brain has literally been rewired to live in the moment, moment by moment. So essentially, you're unable to process any information that goes beyond this present moment. You can't plan for your future, you can't think about the future, you can't envision nothing, you can't strategize nothing. All you can see, like in real time, is this moment. And then if you're living in survival mode and you have ADHD and you don't know, then that puts you in an even more it becomes even more treacherous now. So first of all, you have to understand that you're living in survival mode and what survival mode actually does to you. And then you have to work your way from there, realizing that, oh my God, it's not that I'm worthless. My brain is just not wired to plan. Like that part of my brain is literally not activated, not active. So try as I may, I can't, because my programming overrided my ability to plan. And so I'm always in emergency mode. I'm always trying to figure out, you know, just surviving this moment, just getting from this moment to the next. I'm not thinking about 5 days, 5 months, 5 years. I can't even, my brain at the time couldn't even fathom or conceive what 5 years is or was, or planning for 5 years was. I could have the conversations for sure. I could have the conversations, but I really couldn't emotionally, and if I were to be honest, like honestly, plan for 5 years, because I couldn't go beyond today, because I'm so focused on surviving this day, this moment. So I read all the books and I listened to all the speakers, the Oprah Winfrey's, the Eckhart Tolle's, the Neil Donald Walsh, the Vishen Lakhiani, and so much more that I could call on. And it all sounded good and I wanted to do it. I wanted to make the shift. I wanted to make the change. But in order for me to have done that, I needed to understand what was going on with me. And what was going on with me was that I was living in perpetual survival mode. And I couldn't make any real change until I identified that and made the transition from survival mode to living and thriving. Living and thriving doesn't immediately mean abundance, and it doesn't immediately mean, all the good things. What it immediately means is that you come to an understanding and a realization that you can relax. Just stop and just relax. Get off the mental hamster wheel. Just get off of the mental hamster wheel. The world is not coming to an end. You're not going to, and then there is so much that goes into it. So much that you have to understand, and not just understand intellectually if you want to, because I did understand everything intellectually. I just didn't understand it emotionally and how it related to me and how I connected to it. At my core, I did not understand it. But the transition starts with just taking a breath, acknowledging that you're okay. I'm okay. I'm safe. I am okay. I'm okay. And I'll be okay. And everything is okay. Stop behaving like an addict trying to get a quick fix, which is really what it is. Trying to get a quick fix to take you from this moment to the next. To just, get food for today, to just, just for today, this moment. That's where the shift needs to happen. And then suddenly you start to realize that, okay, I can plan. I'm capable of it. I am capable of planning. And then it goes on and on and on. There are other things, but I don't want to make this video too long. So, but first it starts with understanding what is happening with you, where you are, what you need to do, and then just start there at the basis, because you can't upgrade or shift an identity that you aren't aware of. You must first be aware of your identity before you're able to shift it or upgrade it. Okay? So this is me being unfiltered and just real and honest.